everyone. It's Marita Golden again, having another conversation with a Black woman about how to maintain physical and mental well-being and prioritize self-care. This is another in my series of conversations with new, strong Black women. And today I'm having a conversation with my friend, Dine Watson. Dine, thank you for joining me today.
Oh, you're welcome, Marita. I'm happy to be here.
Dine and I are going to talk about how to maintain mental health and physical health when you're living with a chronic disease or a chronic illness, something that can't really be cured, but you can only treat it. And Dine, you for many years lived with FSG, a very unique kind of kidney disorder, and you now have a new kidney. So just as a sort of frame and background, tell everybody what that is.
Okay. Well, first of all, it's a very difficult name to pronounce and remember, but it's actually FSGS, focal segmental glomerular sclerosis.
Wow.
And yes, it took me a long time to learn how to pronounce it myself. and don't ask me to spell it. But it is a kidney disease where the filters in your kidney begin to contract, and they become damaged to the point where the kidney cannot do its job of filtering the waste out of the body. It's a disease that is rare. Still, it affects mostly Black people and people who are of Mediterranean descent. There is no cure for FSGS. The only treatments are dialysis when you hit bottom and you lose all of your kidney function, and transplant. And I've experienced both. I've had both. I've had 2 transplants, and I was on dialysis for 5 years. My last transplant was in 2009. So I've had this new kidney for 11 years. And I'm doing everything I can to hold on to it. Because let me just say this one other thing, FSGS can come back. Okay. So I don't know if it will come back in my body. I could lose my second kidney, and that's something else that mentally I have to live with.
Right. Well, you and I have worked together on a terrific book that you're writing about. It's a sort of a memoir, but it's a personal memoir of your life, but it also deals a lot with your journey through FSGS. And I told you when we started working together that I thought this was a really important subject for you as an African-American woman to be writing, because this is a story that affects our community so much, but there just aren't that many written testimonies about, living with kidney disease. So I want you to share with us how you maintained both mental and physical health as over the years, and how that regimen evolved and changed and grew.
Okay. Well, I think first of all, before I could even come up with a regimen for dealing with this disease, I had to accept that I had it.
Okay.
And that was very, very difficult for me because I had always been a healthy person. No one else in my family had FSGS or even kidney disease that I know of. And so I was going through this process of, why me? Why do I have it? And I had to come to the conclusion that why me? Because I'm human. Because as one doctor told me, sometimes your body lets you down. And I had to stop saying why me and decide how I was going to live as healthy a life physically and mentally as possible. And it's really been over a period of time that I've been able to come up with a regimen that works for me, because most of the time that I've had this disease, I was diagnosed in 1983. And, so that's quite a while. I can't do the math in my head right now. I know I was 33 years old. I'm 70. So that's, I don't know, 40
half your
some
life.
years.
Half
Yeah,
your life.
that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. So, and most of that time I have worked. Some of the time I was raising my son, so I could not, and I was a single parent for all of his childhood. So I had to kind of keep myself healthy. And I came up with a regimen that I've used over the years. I have more time now since I'm not working elsewhere to really indulge in it. But what I've depended on are first, as I said, acceptance, living with this reality. The second is rest. And that's something that I have really started doing more and more now that I have more control over my time. Every day, unless I'm really out of pocket somewhere, I take a 45 minutes and I take a nap.
Mhm.
It's either a true nap where I fall asleep, or it's something, maybe I'm listening to a meditation, or I'll do a yoga nidra, which is a yogic sleep where you're not really, you're in a meditative state. And I'm very serious about it. I go into the guest room in the house, I close the door. My husband knows not to bother me. I turn off the phone, I put on an eye pillow. And sometimes if I'm listening to something, I'll put the headphones on and I lay there and either fall asleep or meditate. And then, after that, I'm ready to get up and complete my work. I did this about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, or I'm ready for dinner and to enjoy the rest of the day. But because I have FSGS, I have to take a lot of medicine, and it makes me fatigued. I have to rest. So that's my the number one thing that I do.
And I think that even those of us who are not living with a chronic illness need more rest. I mean, I take
Yes.
a 15-minute nap in the middle of the day.
Yeah, I mean, even if you just go someplace and close your eyes and breathe, you'd be surprised. Um, the second thing I do is exercise. I've always exercised from a young adult, but now it's really important because I have to keep my heart healthy. My heart and the kidney are very well connected. And so I have had a yoga practice for many years. I have a spin bike in my basement. I walk. If I don't spin, I walk, and I work out with weights. It's all in my basement, and at least six or 7 days a week, I am doing something to keep my body in shape, and also because mentally, I feel much better when I'm in good condition. So, girls, we're vain. We want to look as good as we can for as long as we can. So it's both a physical and mental reason
Right.
that I exercise. I watch my diet.
Mhm.
I'm trying to hold on to my one little transplanted kidney for as long as I can.
Right, right.
Fat, salt, sugar, red meat, they're all anathema, you know. And I try very hard to eliminate them from my diet. Of course, I can't entirely. I enjoy life. I go out to eat. And when you go out to eat, you're going to get, oh, I was at a restaurant yesterday. The food was way too salty. So that, I have to make sure now that I'm watching what I'm going to be eating for the next couple of days. And I drink a lot of water so I can try to flush through my one kidney those impurities, that salt, that sugar that is in a lot of food
Yes.
out of my body. Uh, I belong to a therapy group. I have gone to therapy off and on over the years. And I think someone introduced me to therapy when I was going through my first divorce. And I just kind of got hooked uh, because it's a way where I can get sort of feedback about what I'm going through that's non-judgmental.
Right.
where
Right.
I can scream if I'm
Right.
angry, which I have
Exactly.
done,
Yes. Yes.
and where I can get the feedback and support for the things that are going well in my life. But I
Right.
belong to this therapy group now, especially because of the fear and anxiety that comes along with having a disease that has no cure. And I could sit around and be afraid of it, but I've decided that I'm going to live
Mhm.
as fully as I can. So that therapy is every week for 2 hours a week. It's an integrated group. So we also get into dealing with some of the social issues that become issues for us. But I use it to sort of to manage one of the ways I manage my mental health. And the last thing that's really grown for me over the years is a spiritual practice.
Mhm.
I I grew up in a Black church, but traditional church just did not work for me,
Mhm.
even though everybody else in my family is at church during those hours on Sunday morning. But I practice gratitude, and
Yes.
that is my religion.
Mhm.
And for all of the difficulties that I might have dealing with this disease, I'm really I'm very, very fortunate. I have a lot to be grateful for.
Mhm.
And I think I told you this before. I have a mantra that I say that's I'm here in spite of my jury rigged, flawed body. I'm still here. I'm as whole as I can be.
Mhm.
I am tremendously loved by my family. I've got 3 sons, one that was born to me and 2 that are my husband's. I've got a great loving husband. Uh, and so I'm here, I'm whole, I'm loved. And I believe that in spite of everything that's going on with me, that I am enough. I'm enough to do whatever I want to do in this world. Um, I'm not perfect about practicing this regimen. I mess up. There are days that I eat too much salt and I don't get my spin workout in, but this is what I strive to do.
Yeah, and once you
And
start doing it regularly, you have a bank account, you have a savings account
yes,
of activities and practice that
yes.
allows you to fall off a little bit. So I want to ask you what for as we close out, what advice would you give to someone who's living with a chronic illness to start small, to just begin developing? What's the one or two things that they can start easy to start small to build up this kind of supportive structure for their lives?
Mhm, mhm. I think first you have to accept that you are not less than because you
Mhm,
have a chronic disease,
mhm,
and so you have to love your flawed self.
mhm,
You are as you're going to try to be as healthy as you can because everybody has something. You
mhm,
really have to believe that and love yourself. And then once you do that, then I would say I don't think it's rocket science. Just start going for short walks
mhm.
and do it alone. So you get that. I mean, that's almost as good as sometimes as therapy.
Right.
Walk by yourself to have that quiet, that space to talk to yourself, to talk to you. I don't know if it was you or somebody was saying, get to know your inner self,
Yeah,
who
it's
you
me.
are. Was that you?
Yeah, and probably
I
other
think
people
so.
too. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah,
Talk to yourself, get to
yeah.
know and love that person. And once you do that, you will want to develop this regimen to keep yourself as healthy as possible.
Right, right. Well, Dean, thank you. Thank you so much. That was really, really helpful and very, very inspiring. So
Thank you so
thank you,
much.
my friend. Thank you, my
Thank you,
friend.
Marita. Thank you. You're a great friend too. Bye
Okay.
bye.
Bye-bye.